Okay, so do you have like a go-to move in the paint? Like when you're playing basketball, is there something like when you're playing against components, you know that they're not going to be able to guard this.
Yeah,
That this is my go-to move every single time I get the ball in my
I think
hand.
that spin fade off glass is one of my my favorite shots. One of my shots that everybody knows coming. It's hard to stop. I think that go to spin off glass, that post fade off glass is what everybody expects me to do at least once or twice a game.
Yeah, I love that. It's just automatic. So we're just gonna hop right in it. Hi everyone, my name is Kiera Baker and welcome to the first live show of Winning Strategy. And I'm your host, Kiera Baker, and I'm here with my interviewee, Paul Harrison. He is a father, he is a gamer, he is a husband, and he is a professional basketball player. So I'm representing Are They Hooping, which is the number one pickup basketball app. And the reason it's so unique to me is because it's an app where you can see who's hooping, see who's playing, and see where they're playing. And since I'm a former hooper, I love to hoop. And it's just a great way to be able to see who's hooping and go to different places and learn people's different playing style. I'm excited to have you. So before we hop into all the questions, I want to start off with a trivia, just to spice it up a little bit, get it going. So the first trivia is actually going to be about yourself,
Okay.
called Hidden Gem. So it's something that I do at the beginning of every interview, just, to get the people to learn a little bit more about yourself.
Okay.
So the question is, which one of these countries did you not play overseas in?
Okay.
A, Canada, B, the DR, C, Ecuador, or D, Germany?
Ecuador. I never been.
Yes, correct. Correct. And you played in many places. So you played in a lot of places. But yes, Ecuador is correct. And now I want to give you a little trivia about the NBA. So I want to test your NBA knowledge a little
Okay.
bit.
All right.
So
All right.
the next question is, who is the Boston Celtics all-time leading scorer? Okay. And this is actually a trivia from the Are They Hooping app. So A, is it Jason Tatum? B, Larry Bird, C, Paul Pierce, or D, John Havlicek?
Oh, I want to say it's John Havlicek.
Okay, you're correct. You're correct. He actually is the leading scorer with 26,000 points, 395 points. That's points.
Yeah.
Points. He's a Boston legend. But yeah, so now we can just hop right into it. Like I said, I'm so excited to be interviewing. And first I want to start off just with your background and how you got up to basketball. So, how was it growing up in Georgia? I know you're from Georgia. You were born there. How was it playing basketball in that state?
I was actually born in Tennessee. I came to Georgia right before high school.
Okay.
I was actually a baseball player before, and once I got here, I guess it was just like that's what everybody did. Like that was what we did in the summertime. Just play basketball. That was like the go-to, and just get. I guess I just found a love for it.
Yeah. Yeah. In Atlanta, they do breed a lot of great basketball players. And I'm sorry, you were born in Tennessee, so that was my mistake. But
Yeah,
Atlanta is a great basketball state. It is.
I
So
call it
what?
the basketball mecca of the South because you can always play basketball, especially in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's always somewhere to play. You know,
Hmm. For sure.
year round.
Yeah. So what inspired you to play basketball?
Um, I really don't know. I really don't know how I got into basketball. I was just like one day I was like, I think I'm gonna play basketball, and I just went with it. From then
Wow.
I played baseball and I played football.
Hmm.
Basketball was like third, and then
Wow.
I guess I'm gonna focus on basketball. I
Yeah.
don't like being outside. I guess that was the key component. I don't like being outside.
Yeah. So would you say baseball was like your first love when you were playing sports, or was it
I think
football?
it was baseball actually. I
Baseball.
think baseball was my favorite sport. Like when I was a kid.
Hmm. What position did you play growing up?
Oh, I played
First
first base.
base. Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that. So it's crazy to now think that you play basketball now as your sport and as, your everyday job. But knowing that you started off with baseball is crazy to think. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, a lot of people uh, from my childhood wouldn't believe like how I became a professional basketball player.
Yeah,
It wasn't, but I mean, it worked out.
yeah. So that kind of goes into my next question. Since basketball wasn't your first love, I was going to ask you, did you have like any role models growing up from basketball or people that you looked up to?
Uh,
Um,
I think like when I was coming into like actually to start playing basketball, Shaq was my favorite person to watch.
mm,
Like he was just so dominant on the court. Like I, everything I wanted to do, I was like, I want to be like Shaq. But of course, nobody's like Shaq.
yeah,
But then like after like watching basketball a lot, get more into the sport, Zach Randolph became like one of my favorite players, and that's why I wear 50. So
wow, wow, yes. He's a Grizzlies legend. I
yeah,
love
exactly. And he from Tennessee. He played in Tennessee.
it.
So
Yeah, he did. He did. Okay, so do you have like a go-to move in the paint? Like when you're playing basketball, is there something like when you're playing against components, you know that they're not going to be able to guard this.
yeah,
That this is my go-to move every single time I get the ball in my
I think
hand.
that spin fade off glass is one of my like my favorite shots. One of my great shots that everybody knows is coming and hard to stop. So I think that go to spin off glass, that post fade off glass is what everybody expects me to do at least once or twice a game.
Yeah, I love that. It's just automatic. So that's just something that you know that that's your move.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. And that just goes into like your playing style. So how would you describe your type of play? Like if you were a coach and someone was giving a scouting report on you, what would they say about you?
Uh, definitely offense first guy. uh, defense in my forte. Everybody know that, but definitely offense first guy. I'm really adaptive. It depends on what we need is what I'm gonna give you. So if you need me to shoot, I'll shoot outside. If you need me to be inside, I'll be inside. If you need me to pass, I'll pass. Whatever you need, I got it for you. So
I love that. And I love that. And it's like you're a jack of all trades. You can shoot it, you can pass it. If your team needs you to play defense, you can do all of it. So that's a great aspect to have when you're a player.
mm-hmm.
So my next question is, how important is physicality to you? Because I know that you're a big guy, you're a post player, and when it comes to being a post, especially for me, I grew up playing basketball and I was a post player. So I always had to be physical. That was something that all my coaches told me. When you get in that paint, you gotta be tough because you could be going up against people that are way taller than you. And if you're a shorter post player like myself at times, you have to have alternate moves and things like that. So how important is being physical to you when it comes to being a post player?
I think it's a key part, but like not the most important part. Uh, the way the game has changed so much, like you see a lot of big men who step outside and go inside out, outside in. I feel like the physicality is still there, but like it's more about your toughness than the physicality. It's are you willing to put your body on the line? Are you willing to like box out? Are you willing to do this every play? It's all about the mental toughness more than the physical toughness. I mean, like yeah, there's some physical toughness. You're gonna get some hard fouls. You're gonna take some. You're gonna give some. I mean, that's just part of the game. So it's just are you willing to if you go in and get fouled one time, are you willing to go in again? You know
Yeah.
that toughness is what I say is like the biggest part of it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true because the game has changed, like you stated. There are bigs like Wembanyama who can shoot it from the three, Dirk Nowitzki. The game has changed so much. So it's really about how you approach the game, but you still have to be physical too. So I want to get into your college days. You were a great college basketball player and you played at North Greenville University,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in South Carolina. So how was your college experience overall?
Well, I didn't take the route that most people take, the most common route. I actually tried out to go to college.
Okay.
Like I had no offers coming out of high school. That's a different story, but I had offers coming out of high school, and so I tried out for my college and got a partial scholarship. It's that school's in the middle of nowhere, Tigerville, South Carolina. People probably don't even know where that is, but it's like 30 minutes outside of Greenville, and um, it was definitely a different experience. My first year, I redshirted.
Mm-hmm.
Redshirt year is when I was literally in the gym all the time. Like we would practice, and then I'll come back and I'll be playing against football players for the whole night. Until
Oh,
and so once I started playing my freshman year, we had a couple of guys get hurt, so I ended up starting my freshman year. So after that, I mean, I had the confidence to just hoop after
yeah.
that.
I love that. And so you had to get a lot of exposure and experience going into that role your freshman year because you know not a lot of freshmen their first year in college get that playing experience. So the fact that you got that experience early on, I'm pretty sure that was vital for you. And that just goes into my next question. Your sophomore season, that was one of your best seasons in college. You were averaging over 22 points per game. So, how did that year differentiate all of the other years in your playing college days?
I think that sophomore year is really when my coach really just gave me the reins. It was just like, this is your team. You gotta do what you gotta do, and I had confidence. Like after the freshman year it was like it's like a new beginning of basketball because like I said, like in high school I had no offers coming out because I didn't really play my senior year. I was on the team, but I never really played.
Yeah,
Uh, and so once I started playing my freshman year, that sophomore year, it was like it kicked in like um it's my team. It's go time every night.
yeah. I love that. I love that. You on go every single time. Every time you touch the court, it's like nobody can stop me.
Exactly.
It showed. It showed with your numbers. The numbers don't lie. 22 points a game?
Yeah.
Oh, I know people were scared to go against you. But did you have a favorite team or matchup that you played against in college? Like, was there a certain team that you knew, like, every time we were going up against them, I'm excited to play them?
Uh, I think there's a couple of them
Okay.
actually. Uh, R was one of the colleges that we every time we went up against them because they were only like an hour 15 away from us. Anderson, another one, was like 45 minutes away from us. They had a one guy I played AAU with. He went there, so it was always a matchup against us. Um, Man, it was a lot. There was a lot of colleges that it was just like every time we played them, I knew that was gonna be the game that I was gonna play my hardest. You know,
Okay.
games you look on the schedule, you're like, I don't care about that game, but like there were some that was definitely starred.
Okay. Did you guys have like a rivalry when you were in college? Like, was there a certain team that, whether it was home or away, you know, it was always going to be a tough crowd or a tough environment to play in?
Um, I think early college before we got into conference because we didn't get into a conference until my senior year. Emmanuel College was like our rival
Okay.
because that's who we ended up playing every year in the playoffs of the uh, of the Christian college playoffs or whatever it
Mhm.
was. It's years ago now. But once we got into conference play, we ended up losing to Queens College, which that was always a good fun time for me to play against. Ended up befriending their star player, which was Dan Bailey. He's from Atlanta too, so
Okay.
I mean, I met so many people through basketball. It's crazy, like how small the basketball world really
Yeah,
is.
it's so small, so small. Is there like a particular moment in your college experience overall that you remember, whether it was a practice or a game? Is it just something that stands out that you'll always remember forever? And if so, could you give us a little background behind it?
I don't think it's like a particular moment. It's just like the fun times that college that we had. It was just always a good time. Like every practice. I mean, even when you get into it with your teammates, it was these like your brothers
Yeah.
for that time period. It's like you don't you never forget them. Like any of them, I probably could call just like right now, and they probably answer the phone. And that was over 12 years ago now. So like it's just like that tightness that you have from being in a close space for and going to war with them every night. Even going against each other like every day in practice, because you go against each other more than you go against other
Yeah.
teams. So it's like once you build those relationships, that's always like the highlight of basketball.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, and those are friendships that you'll have lifelong,
Yeah, for sure.
lifelong. So I love that. I love that. And I'm going into my next topic. I want to talk about your family
Mm.
because just going on your Instagram page, I see that you're a very family-oriented person. So, who motivates you, and are they your biggest motivation every time you play on the court?
Um, I would say my wife, but once I have my daughters every time they're at the game, it's like this is they gotta see daddy be great every time. It's like I don't know, it's a different feeling for like having your kids watch you do what you love, and like if you did it the way that you wanted to do, it's like a different feeling that you can't really express it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I know that's so important to you, just having their support, especially with the grind and the way that you play. It's a tiring sport and it carries a lot out of you. So I know that just having their support and having them in the back of your mind every time you're on the court is something that, you'll always cherish.
Yeah.
So I see that you're a gamer. I was
Sure.
on your page a little bit, and I see that you love Pokemon Go. So I
Yeah.
want to start with asking this question. Growing up, whether you were a child or even in college, like, was there a specific game that you played, or what type of games did you play growing up?
Um, I played a whole lot of games. Um, Growing up, I think Crash Bandicoot was my like first favorite love of video
Okay.
games. Like I beat the first three of them probably two or three times. So, but yeah, Pokemon Go when it came out, this is back when I was already playing overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and my phone to every country, and then catching different Pokemon in every country that's just what I do. Like that's one of my pastimes. But nowadays it's pretty much any game where I can shoot somebody is what I'm gonna play. So I don't
Yeah,
play sport games. I don't play 2K. I don't play Madden. And everybody's like, why you don't? No, I just want to do something that I can do in real life. So I'm gonna shoot
I
something.
love that. So what drew you to Pokemon Go?
Growing up, Pokemon was like it always came on before Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my two favorite shows. So like I didn't even like Pokemon to start. Was waiting for Dragon Ball Z because that was my favorite show. And before that, Pokemon would come on, and then I started watching it, and then it's just I'm watching those back to back as soon as I get home from school, every time.
I love that. I love that. My cousin is a big Pokemon Go fan. So when I saw that on your page, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But I want to talk about the basketball league because I know that is something that you played in. So could you just tell me how you got involved with the basketball league?
So to be honest, I hadn't heard of the TBL before I got to the TBL.
Okay.
Week before our season started in Shreveport, I was at home because I had tore my calf muscle when I was in Uruguay, and I came home and I was just playing in a ABA game for fun. And Paul Parks, he asked me, he was at the game. He was like, "Yo, you want to go play basketball for money?" I was like, "I'm always down to play for money." And he was just like, "All right, well, we got this team over in Shreveport." And I was like, "Where's Shreveport?" And from then on,
Indiana?
yeah,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
had no idea where it was. So he was like, "Yeah, it's in Shreveport." I'm like, "Where's Shreveport?" And he was like, "It's an 8-hour drive." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But so that's what put me on the TBL.
I love that. And you're the only two-time champion in TBO history. So how does it feel just to get that honor? I know that you won with the Potawatomi Fire in 2022, and then in 2023 you won with the Sudbury Five. So how does it feel just to have that honor, being the only one to have won twice?
So I gotta correct you again. I won 3 times,
Uh,
and uh, I won with Shreveport first, and then I won with Potawatomi twice. So I'm not the only two-time champ. All my teammates from this past year who played with me the year before are all two-time champs. I'm just the only three-time champ.
okay.
But I mean, it's always fun because you get to play with like I said, it's all about the basketball relationships. It's not about. I mean, of course, to win a championship is always it's difficult no matter what level you play at. I don't care what anybody says. There's tons of people who've played overseas for years and years and never got a championship. It's not easy to come by. Only one team wins every time. So for to win multiple times, I mean, it's a blessing. Really, it's a blessing to be in the right situations at the right time. That's what it comes down to. But it's more about the relationship that I built in basketball that really stand out over anything else.
I love that. I really do. And I now want to talk about your time overseas. You played in so many different places from Canada, Germany, France to DR, Chile. So, what motivated you to pursue a basketball career overseas? And why did you choose to make that decision?
Um, after my last game, it's my senior year of college. Thought like basketball was over. Honestly, I was like, okay, well, now what do I do? And literally on the bus ride home back from Charlotte, which were where we played Queens, I get a couple messages from random agents like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you get to continue playing basketball for money." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I had like literally I had no idea about like leagues in the world. I was going into it blind, and I was just like, "Okay, well, what I do now?"
Yeah. I love that. I really do. And so, what was your first experience like playing overseas? If you could remember, where was the first overseas place that you played, and how was that experience like? Because I know that it's different, especially going to a whole different environment from the U.S. The culture's different, the food's different, traditions may be different. So, how was that like? Just adapting to a whole different
So,
environment.
my first job was in Germany. Uh, Since I had never flown more than like an hour, at that 9 hours from Chicago to uh, Berlin, I think I flew into was crazy. I'm like, when do I get off of this plane? I've been up here for a long time.
Yeah.
But once I landed there, it was a crazy story because my phone didn't work overseas, so I had no way of communicating with anyone.
Oh my
And they
gosh.
told me that they were gonna wait until they were gonna split the time between the time I got in and the time my teammate got in. My teammate didn't get in until 6 hours after I got in. So nobody showed up to pick me up from the airport for 3 hours. And I was just
Wow.
like, I don't know what to do. I don't have the funds to fly back home right now. Nobody's communicating. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in a foreign country. I can barely read the signs, and I was very distraught. Is the
Yeah.
best I could use to describe this because, I mean, it's you're on your own and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Definitely a different experience. So,
Yeah.
but it all worked out fine. Obviously, after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine going somewhere you don't know anyone there. You're there by yourself, so you're just like, what?
Yeah, they're
What am
like,
I supposed to do?
"We're up from the airport." That's the last message I got,
Oh
and
my
yeah,
goodness.
I was like, who is picking me up? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah. So, like I said, you played in so many places. So, what would you say was your favorite place that you've played overseas in?
I played for many years, so Uruguay was like second home to me. I was there, I don't know, for 5 6 years, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept going back and forth. I made that trip from when they used to before COVID. They had this flight from Miami to Uruguay, Montevideo every single day. So I made that flight 30 or 40 times.
Wow. So, at that point, you probably were used to making that trip, used to flying. So, I want to ask about flying. So, were you ever scared to fly? Like before playing overseas, were you ever like scared of flights?
I don't think I was afraid. I just never even thought about it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like flying right now. I despise flying. If I could drive, I'm gonna drive. But I really like flying is one of my biggest. I have a fear of heights, so like just being there, and then sometimes you get a little like turbulence and stuff like that, and it feels like your stomach is falling out of the plane. It's the one of the worst feelings in the world. I don't think like I've never even like really thought about it until Kobe died. When Kobe died, that was like the
Oh my goodness.
whoa, like this could be every flight could be the last one,
Yeah.
and then I guess that thought is like stuck in my head now. But
Yeah.
like, I don't particularly like flying, but I mean like it's obviously the safest way to travel.
Yeah.
Like you can only break it down with statistics. Like there's 99.99% of a safe flight, you know. So I mean, I don't like it, but it's a necessary evil.
For sure. So what do you remember the exact moment where you were when Kobe passed?
Oh yeah, I was in Uruguay. I woke up, and one of my friends had texted me. It was like, "Did you see what happened?" And I'm like, "No, I just opened my eyes." So, no, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Kobe died. I said, "Stop playing, stop playing." He's like, "Nah, for real." And I'm like, "This is back when that was the only tennis shoe I really wore
Wow.
is Kobe's." Because I mean, like, I had Kobe's on Kobe's on Kobe's, and I hate what happened to him, and I hate what happened to like the way that they treat like his shoes and
Yeah.
everything. Now, yeah, I was that was a crazy morning because I think we even had practice that night, and that's all
Oh
everybody was talking about was
my goodness. Yeah. I can only imagine. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I remember the time I found out about it, I was actually in my bed, just waking up as well. And I saw it on Twitter. First thing I saw was it on Twitter. And I thought it was a joke. I was
yeah.
like, there's no way.
No,
There's no way. And then when I saw more blogs coming out about it, I was like, wow, this is reality. One of the GOATs have really passed away.
yeah.
But
Me, I think it's like maybe like self-aware of my own mortality, but like at some point we all gotta go, but like you don't think about it like that day could be tomorrow.
that's
It's
true. That's true. Yeah.
crazy.
That's why you got to live every day like it's your last. But out of all the countries that you've played in overseas, which one could you say that you learned the most from or you gained the most knowledge from?
Ooh,
Whether it can be more than one.
let me think about that. I think I'd like learn bits and pieces from each country I visited. Like the style of play, the lifestyle that they live in, the like you just there's a lot of stuff that you learn that you didn't even realize that you learned. You just was just going along with the way that your teammates went about things, because like when you first get there, you got to learn how to fit in
Yeah.
because you stand out. You're gonna stand out. Any other country you go to, you're gonna stand out. It doesn't matter even in African countries, you're still gonna stand out because they can tell you're American, not African. You know what I'm saying? So like doesn't matter which country you go to, you're gonna stand out, and you're trying to find a way to fit in to make it feel like comfortable, to make it feel like home.
Yeah.
Because if you don't ever get comfortable, you probably gonna leave. I mean, either forcibly or on your own,
Yeah.
but you probably that's if I give advice to anybody who's trying to go overseas, who's been overseas, who's going back overseas, get yourself comfortable in whatever environment you got. Make sure, like, I don't know. See, my big thing is whatever apartment I get or living spaces I get in, it's gonna be like to my standard.
Yeah.
That's if even if I don't like everything else around, I like what is in my
Yeah.
space. So even if it's just like shower curtains or
Yeah.
something like that, something small to make it feel more homely, that's what I'm gonna do. You know?
Because you have to be comfortable. Like I said, you're in a whole totally different environment. So at the end of the day, like you have to make it what best feels home to you
Exactly.
at the end of the day. So out of all the places that you played, which place do you think was the toughest environment to play in?
Uh, that when I first got to Argentina, that was a crazy environment. I mean, had a little bit of uh, like introduction into it by playing in Uruguay because they're right next, they're bordering countries. My first game, my first like top league game in Uruguay, people start throwing firecrackers on the court and they canceled the game.
No
And
way.
yeah, I played for like I played for Goes,
Yeah.
and their biggest rival was a Guada, and they just don't like each other. I don't know, it's a real like rivalry, and
That's
that was my
crazy.
first game. Packed out. We in a big arena. It's packed out. They going crazy from the tip off until the end of the game. If they everybody's going crazy, and then they threw firecrackers on the court, and one of them like got close enough and it hit me, and I was just like, oh my god, I thought I died. I'm like,
Like, what is going through your mind in that moment?
yeah,
Like, are you thinking like, did I make the right
yeah.
choice coming here to play?
And so after I left Uruguay, because we finished our season, their season shorter, I went to Argentina, and my second game, somebody spit from up top onto me, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh
And I
my goodness!
most disgusting I've ever seen in my life. Like
Wow.
it's just it's just a different world of how people treat other people, and like everything is not like the American way
Yeah.
where you got like security between you and the fans, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that you have to adjust to, especially if you're playing overseas. But that's crazy. Someone spitting on you, throwing firecrackers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could deal with that. So props to you. Big up to you. Seriously. And I just want to touch on the NBA a little bit. We're going to switch
Okay.
gears and we're going to play a little game. So I want to know your top 5 all-time players. So players that have retired and then current players. So there's a lot of great players that are coming into the league, that are already in the league, and that have retired. So I want you to give me top 5, and actually we're gonna go by position.
Okay.
We're gonna
My
go by
position. Okay.
position.
I was about
So,
to ask next question.
yeah,
Top
yeah,
five.
we're gonna go by position. So give me 5 top players that have retired, and then that are in the league now.
Okay. Give me Steph at the 1.
Okay.
Give me Kobe at the 2. Jordan at the 3. Give me KD at the 4 and Shaq at the 5.
Ooh, Shaq. Okay, that's a solid list. Where's Brian? Okay, I'm a Brian fan, so
I
I'm a
I
Brian
just
fan.
I I'm not a Bron hater by any means. He just don't. He's not my
He's not
favorite. So
your favorite. Okay, okay, I can respect that.
nothing against Bron himself. It's just he's not my favorite.
Okay, okay, all right. That's a solid top 5 list. And Shaq is definitely top 5 all time in the centers category, in my opinion,
For sure.
for sure. So, who would you say is your top 5 centers?
Top 5 centers.
Yeah, top 5
Uh,
centers.
you got to have Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Shaq. Um, ooh, maybe his career wasn't as great as people would have expected it to be, but I like DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus
Okay.
Cousins, Boogie get
Oh,
he was
yeah.
not gonna lie. And then give me Jokic.
Jokic. Yes, that's a good one. I was about to say, would you put Jokic in there?
Yeah, Jokic.
Yes. He's a generational player for sure. And people give him a lot of hate, and I don't know why.
I
People
don't know
give him a lot
either.
of hate. If you're a back-to-back MVP, you've won a ring already, and he's still getting the hate that he's been getting.
He
Don't see
found
why,
his.
but
Well, I mean, what else do you want from him?
yeah.
He
For
back
sure.
to do what he want to do, and he just play basketball.
Yeah. No-brainer Hall of Famer for sure. And I want to touch on one more topic, and it's about the W. I know that women's sports has been expanding over the past 5 years, but it's expanded a lot recently in the past year because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and a lot of those rookie players that came into the league last season. So what do you see in the WNBA that has made it this big, and what do you see about the W going forward in a positive way?
I mean, I think it's going in the right direction. I think that the WNBA is just as entertaining as the NBA. I mean, of course, you're not gonna have all the crazy dunks and stuff like that, but like the fundamentals of basketball, shooting and doing what you're supposed to do. I mean, anybody who really watches the game of basketball would enjoy watching WNBA. I mean, I have the privilege to work with the Atlanta Dream last summer, and then USA last summer. So like I was in there practicing with the women, and I'm like, I mean, I don't see the big difference between men and women in the game of basketball, except for athleticism.
Yeah. How was that experience? Just working alongside professional women basketball players, and did you get to interact with any of them? And if so,
Yeah, like we spent a week with Team USA. They came down here and we practiced at like Georgia Tech, and it was a great experience. It was basically just playing basketball. I mean, they put me in a certain role to play like a big that is in the WNBA or overseas. But I mean, like not playing like myself. But other than that, I mean, it was just basketball. It was just basketball in a basketball environment.
I love that. I love that. So, Paul, I want to thank you again for your time. I love this interview, and I just want to say thank you for joining the Winning Strategy podcast. I really appreciate you for coming on, and everybody that's been tuning in, coming in and out. I want you guys to know who he is. So if people who don't know who you are, if they can follow you on Twitter, Instagram, or anything, let them know where they can follow you.
Y'all see my handle. So y'all can find. I'm not hard to find.
Okay. Do you have any last minute thoughts, questions for me, shout outs that you want to give?
Nah. I just ended with peace.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Winning Strategy. And you can follow Are They Hooping on the Instagram page on this one at the ATH B-Ball app. You can follow us on YouTube at Are They Hooping, and you can also follow us on TikTok at Are They Hooping. So I want to thank you again, Paul. Thank you for your time. This was a lovely interview, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I'm trying to play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Tree time.
Yeah. Keep up. Look. Twisting the flow, young nigga gon' get some cash, then he gon' get some more. When money was low, I was trying to get in my bag, I really wasn't calling no phone, cause I was in mode. Fuck all that coming around, you weren't trying to put it on. It was a go, niggas that's talking too fast, they end up running too slow. Now with that other shit, please don't get me confused. Get you a spot on the news, she is a tease, I'm not fucking with fleas. She keeps sending me news, how do you want it? Niggas be thirsty in front of, I'm the one up in the morning, we working like slaves. I'm not turning the page, I'm that dog in the cage. Built the corrosion, I'm about to blow like explosion. You never see me posted, I'm just coasting, sipping on that potion, moving in slow motion, trying to get it. Ain't no volunteering, whip like power steering. Then my thoughts, money in the vault, them prices gon' cost. Take a break, I'm up on my cake. It's time to get straight in the race, push like a V8. I'm trying to be great, 30 more seconds of heat. I am a beast, I'm just ready to feast. The game not ready for me, I'm ready to eat. I see niggas already sleep.